Okay. Hi. Welcome everyone. Tonight we have a very big, amazing class. So we're going to do it. The Refuah Shalema Miriam Bas Shoshana, 7-year-old girl that we just heard that drowned. Do we have any updates, Sarah?
I actually saw an update.
You did?
Oh, her high was
Yeah. Her blood pressure is good and body temperature is very good.
Wow.
So we're going to do it. It's supposed to be today. Refuah Shalema Shoshana Miriam Bas Shoshana. Okay, so last time. Hi. Fashionably. All of you.
First time.
Okay, let's begin. So again, thank you all so much for coming. This is like a short series. I don't scare you to death. Next time I do a 6-part series. Because the 6-part series, I'm not going to tell you anything about it right now, besides for the fact that the people that will sign up to them, I usually when I give series, I usually keep them very small, very intimate, and very committed. And if you've signed up, then you're there. And if you're late, then we all wait for you. And we're like, okay, where is it, right? So this is like a very chill, relaxed, 3-part series on love. But we're going to move into a kick your rear end into shape, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, get you into a place of I am so happy to be alive, so thriving, so not needing other things outside of myself to make me feel good about myself, so on my game, right? And by the non-Jews, there's so much awareness nowadays, I would say in the last 5 years, all these crazy seminars, Tony Robbins, all this stuff that's happening, and there's this awakening, and they're all into mindfulness. It's called mindfulness. Crazy amounts of books that are being written and have been written.
Should go too far back.
Yeah, I see. Thank you. So there's a tremendous amount of awareness in terms of mindfulness, because people are learning and people are realizing these days that yeah, it's nice to have cash, but it ain't it. So, and it's nice to have fun, but we're human beings, and human beings, we just require so much because we're so deep, and we have so many layers, and we have so many real deep needs that are much bigger than what the world tries to sell us on. So people are running mad dashing towards mindfulness all over the world. I personally think, and I know a lot of people are saying it also, is because we're at the times of Mashiach, and people don't want any more, they don't want any more, I usually don't say this, but I'm just going to say this, they don't like to be BS'd anymore. Kids don't like it, and adults don't like it. People are very beyond that, and I feel our generation is very okay, give me the truth. Don't lie to me, don't tell it to me in my face, and I think that just seeing my children and other people's children, I see that they want honesty. They don't want your mommy's fine, mommy's okay. I heard a person that's big in Chinuch and Eretz Yisrael, and he said, it's healthy for your kids to see you going through things. It's not healthy for your kids to see a machine. I'm always happy, I'm always organized, everything's always fine. That's good, but it's healthy for them to see mommy crying. It's healthy for them to see mommy not so happy. It's healthy for them to see mommy and daddy arguing maybe sometimes, and also mommy and daddy making up sometimes. Human, normal, human. We're not robots, and somehow over the course of whatever life, we were instructed from last class. We said this a little bit that we are instructed to be perfect. Perfect. Look, act, be everything perfect. I remember when I was my older son's bris. Okay, I gained so much weight during my pregnancy. Okay, people would walk by me on the street. I lived in Yerushalayim and Rehavia. People would walk by me on the street and just walk by me, friends that would come over and eat Shabbos meals. After I gave birth, they would walk by me, same wig, same everything. They'd be like, hello, they'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you were just so fat. And now you're a little less fat. I did not recognize you. And I just remember being by the bris.
They said that to you?
Yes, it's okay. It's all right.
You can think it, I don't think someone should say that. Even if it's harmless.
We can, we're Israeli. And when you're Israeli, there's just another level of connection that you can allow yourself to have. I wouldn't say it to anyone, but I'm okay, you know. In any case, so I went to my son's bris, and almost embarrassed to walk in. Almost embarrassed to walk in. And I remember having a little bit of a meltdown. Can you just not talk because I have ADD? And if you talk, I forget, and then go home. Bye. So I was almost embarrassed to walk into the shul. Embarrassed because I was really, really, really overweight. And I really looked awful. And even worse by my second. And because every bris that I went to of my friends after, like by the bris, like 8 days after birth, I would walk in and they were like wearing their pregnancy clothing, and, like cute and skinny and perfect and like running around, and I was like stitched and on my tuchas and not being able to move anywhere and not able to walk. Like changing my son's diaper like this, like not able to walk, like bad situation and very, very round and embarrassed. So what happens when you get mindful is that your life gets a lot less stressful. And even if your life stays exactly the same, or even, God forbid, gets harder, you are in your game. You're in your game. You're in your game. You stay centered. You stay in the driver's seat. You stay okay. You stay okay. And a lot of us, I feel, that get thrown off our game when things are like, when we get thrown a curveball, where we don't know how to deal, or this is so scary, or just the thought of that ever happening to my child, or just the thought of that ever happening to me, or whatever. It's like fear grips us. So again, these classes are first and foremost therapy for our bodies, therapy for our minds. Because we have to have kelim. How do you say kelim? Techniques, tools. We have to have tools to be able to get through this life. Because life doesn't come with a script. And I don't know what's going to happen in an hour from now, and I don't know what's going to happen in a day from now, and who knows. And we like to think that everything is going to be okay and everything is going to be good, and God willing, it will. But we have to be equipped, and we have to be there. Just like after the episode that happened in Tower 41, where one of the kids there drowned, and Baruch Hashem was saved. Everyone, in a matter of like a few seconds, people were like organizing CPR groups, and already like 3 or 4 groups went up, and people have done CPR by now. Like it's been like 2 weeks since it happened, right? And already like we've had groups of people, husbands and wives, taking the CPR just in case, because they need tools, they need techniques. Right, just in case, right? So in life, it's not just in case, because life does have its ups and downs. And when we're able to know, when we have the information in our minds, it's a different life. It's a different world. It's a different life. Who said it? I don't remember who said it, but one of these people that I listen to on YouTube. And he said, if we would spend the same amount of time looking at ourselves closely as we do looking at ourselves in the mirror, we would be like holy, holy people. We would be so perfected. We would be so wholesome. We would be so whole. We would be so awesome, right? But yeah, okay. So we're getting there. So thank you again for coming. Shkoyach to you for coming. This is you investing in yourself, in your future, and kol hakavod. So let's begin. Tonight's class, last time we were talking about loving ourselves. I'm not going to recap so much because we have it on video. I'm editing the video and I'll put it up on the website and I'll send you the links if you want to watch it. Tonight we're talking about loving others and how to be able to really love another person and what the advantage of loving other people is and how to love other people, right? One of my one of my mentors is Brene Brown. She's excellent. She is unbelievable. She's a researcher. You should buy her books and watch her online. She's unbelievable. She talks about trust and vulnerability and how to be a person that is able to be vulnerable with other people and themselves. Okay, and not be ego-driven. Like, I'm fine, everything's fine, I'm okay, how are you, right? Like, be honest with where you are, right? And she talks a lot about that. And one of the things that she says is that she brings in from someone else that did research on relationships for 30 years, and he said, never trust a person that tells you that they love you when you know that they don't know how to love themselves. Right? A person that can't love themselves just is incapable of loving you or anyone else, right? Because that's how it is, right? Don't be skeptical of the naked man that offers you his shirt, right? Because if he doesn't have it, he can't give it. And that's something that's super, super crucial to understand, that if we don't have certain things, we can't give them. So first and foremost, I want to talk about this concept of connection with other people and connection with our spouses, our children, how to improve that. Because I think that right now we are in the time of correction, connection, and during these 3 weeks. The reason that we are in these 3 weeks, the reason that we can't listen to music and that we fasted and that we're going to fast again and that we're going to sit on the floor, God forbid, let's hope Mashiach is here, right, Shabbat. Amen. Amen. But the reason that we're in this situation over and over and over again is because we keep on, it's almost like, scar tissue. You keep on ripping the same area over and over again. It's bound to tear with just the tiniest bump, right? Because it's the same issue constantly of issues with other people. You can't have issues with other people if you don't have issues with yourself. Okay? If you don't have beef with other people if you don't have beef with yourself. Okay? So the thing here is like this. What's so amazing about connections with other people is finding yourself in it and always being and keeping it constantly, always number one in our minds, real. Being real. Like, it's very important to be politically correct. Right? Very important to be politically correct. And as long as God gives me a voice, I will speak this till I'm an old lady, God willing. Right? It's as long as we are politically correct and oh my gosh, you look so good, and oh my gosh, let's go out, and oh my gosh, call me, and let's do lunch, and let's do whatever. And if we're not there in our hearts, then we can't be there in our lips. We can't be echad b'peh v'echad b'liv. We can't be one person on the outside and another person on the inside. We can't be this person because as long as we are split like that, and let's just call it hypocritical like that, right? As long as it's like that, we will never have authentic relationships with anyone. And we will never be fulfilled on a deep, intimate level with relationships with people. Right? It doesn't mean that we can't put ourselves out there, but if we don't feel it, we should work on feeling it first. Everything should come from here, this way. It shouldn't be this way. Right? It shouldn't be the other way around. It should be, I'll say it first and then I'll drag my legs there and just like sit through it. Or do whatever. It should be, I should work on myself to want to connect with another person. Let's begin. Ready for me? This class is full of Zohar. Thank you. This class is full of Zohar, full of Kabbalah. The reason that we teach a lot of Zohar these days is because Zohar is really like it's the heart and soul of Torah. Okay? What we've learned, I think, as children, as growing up, is more of like the outside stuff. Right? And when you learn the heart and soul of it, then you connect to it on a heart and soul level. So the idea is always to connect on a heart and soul level. Always, 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 always. To everything that we're doing in life. Right? Not to be robotic people, not to be robotic Jews. Right? If we're covering our hair, we know why we're covering our hair. We love covering our hair. We connect to covering our hair. We connect to the whole concept. And if we're keeping Shabbos, we're connecting to the thing. And if we're not there yet, it's fine. Because that's what I'm here, and that's what we're here, and that's what we're doing all of this. Right? To connect from internally to what we're doing. So he says like this. We're learning Zohar, and Zohar says like this. It's like this. Ready? לא מצא הקדוש ברוך הוא כלי מחזיק ברכה לישראל אלא השלום. Now I'm teaching you a concept now in Zohar that learn this concept, know this concept, understand this concept, and you'll understand a lot of things in your avodas Hashem, in your mitzvah observance. Again, we're doing the mitzvahs. You know, I speak to crowds all over. I've spoken many universities and many college campuses, all over cure programs and really hundreds and hundreds of places at this point of my life. And I've sat through, I'll tell you, give you an example. I was in NYU 2 years ago in the city.
My alma mater.
In Manhattan. And I'm sitting there and I'm giving these students that are just completely, know nothing, they don't know anything, they just know that they're Jewish. I'm sitting there and giving them an entire explanation on Pesach, on Yetziat Mitzrayim, and what it means. And I am, by the end of this talk, I am dripping. You know when you feel it? Like that? Yeah, dripping down my back, like I just had an insane workout, okay? And they're all like sitting there like riveted, totally. And at the end of it, I was talking all about like coming out of your comfort zones, and that's the only way to be able to really move ahead in life and to grow and to evolve into your potential and to who you are, and to talk all about Mitzrayim and Tsar and narrowness and coming out of your narrowness and coming out of the things that you're so used to and whatever. And at the end of it, this guy walks up to me, he has a guitar on his back, and he's like, so we're standing, right? Standing, and he's like, can I just tell you something? And I was like, sure. And he's like, you really moved me. And I was like, thank you. I'm so happy. And he's like, I just have to give you a hug. And he like squeezes me. And I'm standing there like, my rabbi's voice is going through my head, play dead, play dead. Like, don't have back, don't have back. So I'm just like limp, right? And he's, and then he like lets go. And he says to me, you made me so clear right now. Is it better that I'm standing? Better? Worse? Good? Bad? A little better. A little bit? Okay, so I'll stand a little bit and then I'll sit. So he's like, you made me realize that all this time I was going to be in theater, and now I realize I just want to be an artist. No, I get him. The sweat is like dripping. All I want for them to do is to just be like, you know what, maybe I'll go to Neve, or maybe I'll go to Israel, or maybe I'll go to Aish or something, And he's like, I realize now, like, I'm going to be an artist. Thank you so much. You totally changed my life. And he like walks away. He's like, and I got hugged, and I was just like, what? How did this work? How did this happen, right? So by us, like when I speak to women that are observant and that are building their homes according to Torah as much as they can, right? And that are trying to connect and that are coming out to classes, and when anyone's sick, they're all davening and already on the level of spirituality, right? So like by us, it's just a matter of like knowing, and then we fly. Because we're already in. And when I speak to like people that are Torah mitzvah observant, I feel like I'm speaking to like the cream of the crop of the Jewish people, because so many people know nothing. My own parents know nothing. So many people know nothing. Not just know, but feel nothing. And whatever, Israel, whatever. It's not like by us, like Eretz Yisrael. Like when I sing V'Yushalayim Yercha, I'm like all over the place. I'm just on the floor and I'm crying and I'm a mess, and like I just want Mashiach and I want B'nai Mikdash and I want Yerushalayim, because that's where I feel like my neshama is from, right? I feel like we're connected there. That's where it's at. So this concept that we're doing tonight is, I think, the foundation and the meat and potatoes of being a frum woman. Being spiritual, being connected, connecting to God. And he says like this, he says what I just said was, one second, sorry. When you overlearn? I've overlearned. Okay. The concept is like this, you have a vessel. This is Kabbalah teachers. We have vessels, we are vessels. That Hashem pours into our life bracha based on how complete our vessels are. Now when we're married, right, or when we're in relationships with people, we create a vessel between us and the other person, and it's one kli, it's one vessel, right? The idea is, in life, is to have your vessel be complete, be full, be a full vessel, not to have holes and breaks and cuts in this vessel, right? Because then whatever gets poured into this vessel just leaks out, right? And the idea is, he says like this, the Zohar brings down, he says that there is no more of a perfect vessel. Okay, spiritually, we're talking about a spiritual vessel. Me, I'm a vessel. When a kli machzik shalom, when there's shalom, when there's peace. Meaning, when there's peace between people, right, there is tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of bracha. That's the equation. The equation is when there is pirud, when there is separation, when there is I don't like you, when there is machloket, when there is this whole like talking and whatever behind people's backs and all of that stuff, what happens to you, to your soul, to your vessel, is that it gets cracks and breaks. And what happens there is that you can pray from morning to night. I need this and this and this and this and this, and then it doesn't happen for us. And how many times have we davened for something for years? I know that I'm davening for one thing for about, I would say 27 years at this point, and it still hasn't come my way. Right? Why? Because there's a tikkun, there's something that I have to fix in my vessel. Our souls are our vessels. And when we're connected to another person, like when we're married, then our marriage is our vessel. And when we're fighting, or when we're talking, or when we're putting down, or when we're not able to give in, or when we're whatever, all we're doing is breaking our vessel. It's like you're on a boat with your husband, okay, and your family, and you're digging a hole underneath your seat, and you're like, just mind your own business, this is my seat. And the idea is that if I dig a hole underneath my chair, I am drowning everyone and everything. There is the Torah is screaming and yelling and everything, and it's incredible because by Devorah Flaga and Devorah Mabel, Devorah Flaga, they were all united together to fight God. And all Hashem did was just disperse them. And Devorah Mabel, they were all fighting each other and they were erased. Hashem's like, it's okay, unite to fight me, it's okay. As long as you're united, the formula is unification. When I'm able to say, okay, fighting with this person right now, talking about this person right now, arguing with this person right now, not giving in to this person right now, all it's doing right now to us is putting a hole in our little boat here. Then it's not. I'm just gonna say okay, because what happens when there's peace between us? Kli machzik bracha. There's just going to be so much bracha. So much bracha to the point where I don't even know where this bracha is coming from. That's what the Zohar says. I don't even know where this bracha is coming from. And we have a knee-jerk reaction, and the world is obsessed with revenge. The world tells us, like, someone gets you, get them back. Someone speaks about you, talk about them. Someone spreads rumors about you, and you're not going to demolish them? In Israel, there's a word, it's called freirit. Freirit. A friar. A friar is like someone that's just like a welcoming mat. You just step all over him, right? If you're not going to stand up for yourself and like be the man and get in someone's face, and you're not going to push on that bus, and you're not going to elbow people, it's friar. You're just like a welcoming mat. That's the concept. What? A sucker. Yeah, right. And it's the furthest from the truth. That's why it says that this world is olam hafuchu. It's exactly what we see here. The 180 degrees is the truth, is emes of how to live life. Because if I want to be selfish, and I want to be smart, and I want to really be able to advance in my life, in my marriage, build this foundation solid from here on out. I want to be able to give my children a healthy, wholesome life. Then being adamant about this right now, or not giving in about that right now, or talking, or making a thing, or letting my ego guide me, all that does is creates machloket. And machloket is number one destruction. When I'm in machloket with anyone, I bring destruction, God forbid, into my life. 100%. That's why we're still in exile. We're still in exile because that's what we've done. When we lost the Beis HaMikdash. When Nebuchadnezzar came into Yerushalayim and he was going to destroy the Beis HaMikdash, they said to him from Shemaim, Bayit Saruf. They said, one second, I want to give you the right pasuk. It said, Bayit Saruf Sarafta. It's burnt already, the house that you're about to burn. It's burnt. It's done already. Because the Beis HaMikdash is just a manifestation of where we are in our hearts. When we were good with each other, and we were loyal, and the Jewish people were loyal and caring and connected and together, and like really together, and no one's whispering behind anyone's back, and no one's judging. Okay, so she doesn't do X, Y, Z, but she does A, B, C. So focus on the A, B, C. Okay, so she's not holding, or she doesn't look like on my level of mitzvah observance, or of whatever, or she's like that. But that's I need to love her. We were told in the Torah, we have to love every single Jew, not if he's like me or looks like me and acts like me. We are commanded to love all of them. The ones that look so different, the ones that are so far, the ones that are so weird, the ones that are so poor, the ones that are not, the ones that are tactless, the ones that are dirty, the ones that are whatever. We're commanded to love them. Why? Because what does love do? Love creates a vessel. Hashem says, Hashem is Ichud. Hashem is one. Hashem says, I can't dwell with you, and Hashem's dwelling with us is His bracha, His siyata d'shmaya, when we see things are happening and flourishing. What we see in the world today is a lot of destruction. What we see in the world today, and last time I said this, a month ago or 3 weeks ago, in 1 week we lost 5 kids to overdosing, right? 5 from kids and from communities to overdosing, and we're losing them as we speak. Like, as we speak. I used to work in a home for girls that were off the derech, I told you in the beginning here. And like, the amounts of destruction that I saw, and dysfunction, and sadness, and depression, and disharmony, and just all the, I used to peel girls off the streets in Yerushalayim that like had to vomit all of them, and just, I can't even describe in what conditions I would find them. These are good girls, these are good people. But they were so judged, and they were so put down, and they were so pushed away because they weren't this. And what happens when that happens, when we're like that, and we're like, no, we're so open-minded. The idea is not to be open-minded. The idea is to love. The idea is not to be like all these like liberals that are walking around like, Palestine is a religion of peace, which is what UNESCO just came out with. The religion of peace is Palestine, because they want to so badly be like liberals and be so open-minded and show that they're so, that's just so off the deep end. The idea is to love. Not just my husband, because he's my husband, or my children because they came out of my body, but to find ways to love you, to find ways to love you, to see things inside of you, and to see things inside of you, even though I have so many walls with myself, and I have so many self-esteem issues, and I have so many barriers with myself, and everyone's so guarded these days. Right? So we can't be really, really connected. If you look at any person for a second, if you dwell in their eyes and just look into their eyes, you see a soul, you see a neshama, you see a good person. And everyone wants to be noticed, and everyone wants to be loved, and everyone wants to be accepted, everyone. And we were commanded to love, to just love. And Hashem says, love each other, leave me alone. Leave me alone, it's okay, you don't have to love me. Love each other. If we're able to love each other means not, I'm going to get into exactly what loving each other really means. Because it's the glue. It's almost like you have this masterpiece, this stunning vase, and it's gorgeous, and it's millions of dollars, and it's just stunning, and it's completely shattered. And the glue to put it together, that glue that you're going to just fix this whole thing with, that's love. And the second that this thing is back together, the second that Mashiach is here, that's the vessel. That's the kli machzik bracha. That's the vessel. When you have a 7-year-old girl drowning in New York, right? The reason that bad things happen, in the Jewish people, the reason that it happens is because there's so much separation and hatred and machlokes and lashon hara and destruction, and the Yetzer Hara is dancing. He loves it. And it's never going to be a perfect world. And the people that you expect perfection from, stop expecting. Just stop. Stop expecting perfection from your children, from your husband. Stop expecting perfection from your parents. Stop expecting perfection from the childhood that you never had. Stop. Because it's just, I have bad news to share with you. You're never going to get it. We're never going to get the I was wronged. This is not fair. Fix it. We're never going to get it. We have to put ourselves into the place of fixers. That's what we have to do. Once I'm able to be a fixer, once I'm able to stick this thing together with some glue, I'm able to bring more bracha into Klal Yisrael. I'm able to bring Mashiach. Hi, good. So I wanted to say something really, really Really important. I want to talk about, it's called, let me just make sure, yeah. It's called braving. It's an acronym. Braving. Remember it. Okay? B-R-A-V-I-N-G. So what we're going to learn now, what we're going to learn right now is the B-R-A-V-I-N-G. 7 practices. 7 practices that if I'm able to do them with myself, I'm going to be able to do it with other people, and you will see. Put this, just sear this into your mind. Sear it into your brains. Take these acronyms, take this acronym, take these letters, take what we're going to learn about them, sear it into your brain, live by them, and life will upgrade. Life will change for everyone. For everyone. The idea really, really is, the bottom line idea is that we are living through history right now. We are, all the Gedolim saying, Rav Chaim Kanievsky just said it, Mashiach is bepetach. He says Mashiach is bepetach, Mashiach is at the doorway. Mashiach is going to come when there's unity, when there's connection, right? Hashem Echad, meaning when there's connection between us. Just to know and just to remember that all of the ego equals destruction. Whenever you feel yourself acting from a place of ego, know that you are being so tested right now. You have a choice right now to be a bigger person. You have a choice right now to be a bigger person. It says that in the base of English, there was no room, that everyone was just standing like this, there was no room. But when they bowed down, they didn't bow down like we bow down, they bowed down, all the way on the floor. And when they bowed down, they had tons of room. Why? And Rav Scheinberger in Eretz Yisrael, who was a very big tzaddik, he says the reason that they were able to have so much room is because life expands and you get bracha when you're able to bow down, when you're able to be in a place of mevatel. So just give in. Just be the bigger person. Not needing to have the last word, not needing to always be right, not needing to always say, excuse me, I know what's right, but it's right. Hello, but you're wrong. 100,000,000% you are right. He is wrong. 100,000,000,000,000,000%, but you're not going anywhere with it. Because as long as you're ondim, you're standing on your own, and you're standing on your thing, and you're not going to be able to give in any way, shape, or form, because you are right, and you are right. I'm not saying that you're wrong, and you're just saying that you're right. You're right, and he's wrong, 100%. As long as you're standing on your thing, and you're not able to move, there's no siyata d'shmaya, and there's no bracha. There's no bracha. And when we're able to be in a place of bowing our heads, bowing our egos, not in a place of abuse, God forbid, right? And I always say this to all the women that I've ever taught. This doesn't apply to abusive relationships. Abusive relationships are abusive relationships, and they're in a different category. But normal relationships, if I'm able to be in a place of giving in to the thing, even though if I know I'm right, I'm making so much room for bracha in my life. So much room for blessing. So much room for siyata d'shmaya. And the Zohar says that there's a trick. You want to be matzliach in any business, or any kind of thing that you're doing, you want to have real hatzlacha, the number one thing to do is make sure that the person that you're partners with, you have peace with. That you're peace with. You're not talking about them, you're not speaking behind their backs, there's no lashon hara, you're at peace. There's peace between the two of you. Even if it requires turning yourself into a pretzel. Make sure there's peace, because that will, he says, the Zohar says, even if the people are not smart, and even if they don't know how to handle money, and even if they're not savvy, and even if they'll have so much siyata d'shmaya. It's a promise. It's a promise. So that's the deal. The deal is like this. We have another a week and a half till Tisha B'Av. We have to know that we are really, 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 us as women, we're bringing the Geula. It's us that are going to bring the Geula. It's us. And it's real. It's not it's not a nice thing that we've learned in one time and whatever. It's really happening. It's really happening, and it's us. So how does it happen? It happens when you're able to, when you have so much to say, when you were wronged, when someone spoke about you, when you heard about it, when you're so annoyed, when this person is whatever, right? And that's when it happens. You're putting the entire Jewish people, the entire world, and fast forward towards Mashiach. That's what you're doing. It's not just about the length of our skirts, and our sheitos, and what kashrus we're eating. It's so much deeper. It's so much deeper. And I wouldn't say this if my Rav, and Eretz didn't say this, but he said this. So he's the gigantic, huge giant, and he said, as long as you're in a place of, when he said this, I like rewinded and listened to it again, and rewind and listen. I was like, really? That's crazy. It's like the opposite of like kind of like what we're so used to hearing, right? We're so brainwashed to think like, as long as you look like a good Jewish Meidala, then you're good. You're good. And if you don't look like that, then like, and then we grow up and we become these like snobby, judgmental girls, and we're not really like that. We just become our brains are so wired to think that way about people. Like we'll see a girl walking down the street and she looks a certain way, or she's dressed something, or we're like, hey. It took me like 17 years to undo what happened to me in Beis Yaakov. Sorry. We did. We have to become aware. We have to talk about the issues, and the issues are that that's not the right way. So he said, if you are in a place, if you are a person that is totally obsessed with peace, to the point where you're able to twist yourself into a pretzel to make sure that you are at peace with people, and they're able to love people, and not talk about people, and not fight with people, and not be with machlokas about people, even if you're right, he says that's greater than mitzvah observance, basically. He said even Shabbos, and he said, he was bringing me from the Zohar, Rabbi Shimon. So we have to like think about that. That's like big, because somehow it's twisted. Somehow we're like totally obsessed with exterior, and then interior is just like, yeah, Lashon Hara, of course. I remember one of the schools that I was in, I used to walk into my principal's office, and she was like totally talking Lashon Hara to me about the other girls. You can't be friends with her, you can't go with her, you can't do this with her, and that girl's this, and her mom's like this, and her dad's like this, and I would be like, one second, like, I didn't chab, like I'm Baal Tshuva, it's like very black and white to us, it's like, if you're not allowed to, then you're not allowed to, I don't care who you are, but she was the Rebbitzin, and she was the daughter of, and she was from here, and she was that, and like, all the other girls, like, listened to her, and like, that's what she was doing for years and years and years and years to all her students. She would call them into her office and just talk Lashon Hara about the other girls. And like, I totally fell into it. I was like, she was my like principal, like, So like, we have to stay away from like sheker, and that's sheker, because it doesn't matter who you are. If you're talking Lashon Hara about anyone, it's sheker. Okay, and I remember, if I'm going to just say sheker, I remember I was in 9th grade. Me and 3 other girls left school in the middle of the day, and we were in Bar Park, and we went to. We heard about the Kubal that was coming into town, and we're like, oh my gosh, we want to go to the Kubal, we want to know our future, we want to get married. Okay, so we left, we cut class, we went, right? And there were like signs in the middle of the street, like Tzadik Bala'ir and all this stuff, right? And we get to his place, and we go down these stairs, and we go into this room, and we're waiting, and one girl goes in, and she comes out. I'm the 3rd girl to go in, and they come out like this. Right? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so good. I'm such a like heebie-jeebie junkie. Oh my gosh, huge. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be good. Like before I was from, I used to do like seances. You know what seances are? Bringing back the dead and stuff like that. So like after I became from it, and I like really learned that there's a God and souls and whatever. I spent 10th grade like 3 times a week. I would get off the subway at Avenue M, and I would walk around the cemetery for like 2 hours. I had a faith. Anyway, so I walk in. I walk into this guy, this Tzadik Bala'ir guy, right? And I'm sitting there, and I'm all like, like so much respect.
She's been trying to save her life.
Ricky, speak up, my friend.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like this, like all like ready for him to be like, this is gonna be your life. And he looks at me, and then he gets up. Okay, Tila is me, okay? He gets up. And then he comes over to me, and I'm like, what's he gonna do? Like, I didn't know he like sprinkle stardust on me, like what's gonna happen? And all of a sudden he just goes like this. And I was like, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, you cannot touch me! It's Esther! But and he touched the other girls, and they were so afraid, because like, that's what he said. right? So then I ran back and I told the principal freaked out, and it was so much fun. So scary. Yeah, like there's right and there's wrong, and I don't care who you are or what you look like. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Even if you're big signs in the bar park, if it's wrong, you're wrong. You're crooked. You're not real, right? So we have to start thinking that way more. It's not like, oh, because she said it or he said that, and it's okay because he has a plaque in that shul, so it's okay, right? Okay, so moving back into what I was saying before, I just want to say one more thing before we go into the acronym that we were talking about before, and that will give us real tools to move into the next session. When the Beis Hamikdash was, before the second Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, then there's that whole story where there's this man and he was making a big simcha and he wanted all his friends to come and he sent messengers to call his friends and he wanted his friend Kamsa to come, but his messenger went and he called Bar Kamsa and Bar Kamsa comes to the thing and he comes to him in the middle of the party and he's like, get out, and he's like, I'm not leaving, please let me pay for my meal, let me just stay here, stop embarrassing me, and he says, I don't want you to pay for anything, I want you to just get out, and everyone started to be quiet around, everyone's like, the Gemara talks about how everyone's just quiet and everyone's like watching, and he sits there and he says, please let me just, I'll pay for half your thing, and he says, I don't want you to pay for anything, get out. He's like, I'll pay for your entire party, please don't embarrass me in front of everyone. And they take him and they throw him out of the thing, and then Bar Kamsa goes to the government and tells the government that the Jews are doing X, Y, Z, and then they come and they destroy and everything, with tons of Jews were killed, and that's the story of, that's what happened right before the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. So the thing that's brought down, the Chafetz Chaim says, he says that not so much what happened between the Baal HaSimcha and Bar Kamsa, but more so what happened with all the people that were just sitting around and watching. All the Talmid Chachamim, all the Rabbanim, all the Badatz eaters, they didn't stand up and protect the weak. We have to stand up and protect the people that can't protect themselves. We have to be warriors in this world. We have to stand up for truth. We have to stand up for what's right. We can't be people that are just holier than thou, and then when something happens in front of us, or something so scary or so crazy happens, we just sit by and I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm embarrassed. I can't say anything. No. That's why the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. Hashem saw all these people, all these Torah-observant Jews sitting around and saying not a word, and this guy is getting demolished and thrown out of this place. That was the root. That was Beit Tzaruf Sarafta. The Beis Hamikdash was already destroyed. In Shemayim, there was no more Beis Hamikdash. It was standing, but it was just a matter of time before it was burnt. Because we have to be loyal to each other. We have to be each other's friends. We have to love each other. We have to love each other. We have to be in a place of, okay, she spoke about me. Okay, she spoke about me. Maybe she had a hard day. I know it's hard. Right now it's easy to say, but in the heat of the moment it's kind of hard. But that's the real test, when it's hard. When it's not easy. So it sounds like this. And these are the tools that I want to leave you off with. Braving. Be. Boundaries. Be. Boundaries. Number one, respect your boundaries. Boundaries that you have, respect them. Meaning, live by your boundaries. Don't be wishy-washy with your boundaries. Boundaries means, if this is what you are, if this is what you do, if this is what you believe in it, live it, be it. Respect your boundaries. Because if you don't respect your boundaries, you cannot expect other people to respect your boundaries. You can't expect your husband to respect your boundaries. You can't expect your kids to respect your boundaries. Because you don't have a backbone. You gotta have a backbone in life. If you're doing these things, do them thick and thin, through and through. There's no exceptions. It's for yourself. It's almost like in front of other people, you're eating like lettuce and carrots. No, I'm on a diet. No, and then you go home and you pound. That's not having boundaries. That's not being loyal. If you ever want anything from anyone in this world, you have to know that there are a lot of things that don't have to be spoken. It's called energies. You know, there are some people that like you're around them and you just like naturally respect them. Naturally, you have this like respect to them, and then you're around other people and it's easy to step on them. Sadly to say, just easy to like abuse them. You know, people that are like abusive personality type, it's just easy to abuse them, even though you're not an abuser, but like they make it so, it's almost like they make you abuse them. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're just like these so like make themselves so small, and you're just like, and it just happens. So that's called energies. People have energies. Beyond what you say and how you come across and what you believe in and all the things that you speak, you have a vibe. You have a vibe to you. And when you are able to respect your own boundaries and keep to what you believe is right, and do what you say you want, and do what you say you believe in, that comes across in everything without you even speaking about it. That's how you develop yourself. That's how you make yourself into a better person, into a real person. So be boundaries. Respect your boundaries. Respect other people's boundaries. Our reliability. Do what you say you're going to do, time and time again. Time and time again, if you are able. And at the end of this, you'll understand how when you're able to match yourself like this, and you're able to keep yourself accountable, hold yourself accountable in these ways, what happens to all your relationships is that they all respond in the same way. All of a sudden, people that were like, always late, never gave you din v'cheshbon, never like, just kind of like took advantage, and you always feel like, you know, you tell me you're going to come home at 7, and all of a sudden you come home at 9, and it's over and over and over and over again. It's like you don't respect me, and you're fighting for your respect, and you're fighting for someone to see you, and you're fighting to be heard, and you're fighting, and in essence, all you have to do is do it to yourself. And when you expect it of yourself, and when you live according to that with yourself, and you owe yourself your own, you know, you are a reliable person, and you don't let yourself down. You say to yourself, today I'm exercising, you exercise. Come hell or high water, you exercise today, because you said so. Your word is a word. And when you're like that, people, all of a sudden, you see how he won't come 2 hours late when he said he's going to come at 7. Because all of a sudden, it's not, you've already shifted the energy field between the two of you. Because you've changed, the whole thing has changed. And maybe it's hard to understand it like right now because it sounds nice in theory, but if you do it, you'll see. People change when you change. I went from a place of like, you know, I went from a hard place when I was a while ago. And when I was in that place, I was this small. And all I felt was that everyone was hurting my feelings all the time. Nobody was being sensitive. Nobody cared. Nobody saw me. Nobody heard. Like I don't even exist. And I would die over it, over and over again, every night. It was so. I felt so betrayed, so not cared about, so insignificant. And then I started learning that, oh, one second. Oh, I'm small in my eyes. I don't feel like I deserve better. I don't feel like I started realizing that I didn't expect anything from myself, from life. So what happens is that life just responds to you that way. Law of attraction. Back to law of attraction. So R is reliability. You do what you say you're going to do time and time again. And then you'll see that from other people. A, accountability. I can only trust you. When you make a mistake, you own it, you apologize, and you make amends. You own it, any mistake. The stupidest mistake. The other day, I had a thing with my sister. It wasn't even a thing. Like I just woke up and I was just like, I'm not doing this. Like the second I woke up, I was like, I'm not doing this. And she was like, okay. And then like afterwards when I left and I was driving home, I was like, why was I so like in her face? Like I woke up like wanting to like get in her face. Out of nowhere. So weird. Right? Like obviously something was brewing. I didn't pay attention to it. And then like when I saw her, I was like, no. And she's like, okay. I'm like, fine. Bye. Bye. Right? And then what I had to do, that I didn't do, that I will do, now that I'm here. Bless your soul. What I had to do was call her, even though she like totally like put it away, and it's like we didn't talk about it, and we don't have to talk about it again. Pick up the phone and say, hi, about what I said the other day, I'm so sorry. I woke up in the wrong side of the bed. I made a mistake. Please forgive me. Can we make amends? That's it. This is like number one in relationships. Must. You have to know how to be able to, if you made a mistake, own it, apologize, make amends. And then you'll see it'll happen from another person as well. All these things that we're learning right now are the glue. Glue in trust, glue in relationships, glue in marriage, glue with kids. Glue, it's glue. You can't just like float through life and just be like, oh, I'm pretty, so everything's fine. You know? No, it's not gonna happen. Trust me, I tried it. Okay, V, vault. V is very, very important. When someone comes up to you, and he says, oh my gosh, you don't even understand what happened. So-and-so is getting divorced because I heard X, Y, Z. What happened in that moment is that you have to know that this person is not to be trusted. Because even though they're bringing you the juice and they're bringing you the gossip, you have to know that this person cannot be trusted. You can't be a person that gossips and expect people to trust you. And if you keep falling into the same thing with like, oh, she's telling you don't think she's talking about you? She is talking about you. So the first person to change always is yourself in that way. You are a vault. People confide in you with their own stories. You are a vault. You don't speak their life. It's not your story to tell. It's not my story to tell. People speak to me in confidence. It's confidential. And when you're able to be such a person, you don't understand what kind of a person you become. You become a person. You're not just like Play-Doh. It's like this like mushy, like, yeah, oh, she said this, and she said that, and this, and this, and this, and that, and I feel this, so I'm just going to say it, and I don't want to give in, and I don't care, and I'm not, like, there's no backbone, you're not, to make yourself into a person. We have to, it's almost like we come into this world of mush, of Play-Doh, and we have to form this thing into something worthwhile. I have a vault. You want to tell me your story? I will open, and I want to hear, and I want to listen, and I want to be there for you. I don't want to hear anyone else's story. And that's how we have to live our life. That's not my story to tell. That's it. As tempting as it is. Because you know what happens? It's like people gossip, and that's how they have, how does she call it? I love how she calls it. Common enemy intimacy. We both have a common enemy. We both hate her. We both think she's this and this and this and this, and she's doing everything wrong. And that's like the juice in our relationship. But there's no relationship really. Because a relationship can't be based on those kind of things. It's like, it's easy to gossip because it hot wires relationships, but it's nothing. It's nothing. You're next in line. Just be careful. Be careful. You're next in line. So we're a vault. Again, all of these things are ways for us to build our character, to build ourselves, and to, in essence, build our relationships. Why are we building our relationships? We're building our relationships because there's no better way to get bracha, to get siyat d'shma, to get Mashiach, if we're not going to be in a place of peace and unity. That's the equation. That's all Hashem cares about. Hashem cares about that more than your Shabbos observance. Hashem cares about that more than your tznius. More. And the last one is it the last one? No, it's not. V. I. Integrity. Courage over comfort. Doing what's right over fun, fast, easy. Practicing your values and not just preaching them. Okay? We tend to tell our kids, don't fight! Don't fight! And then what do they hear us doing? Fighting with our moms, fighting with our sisters, fighting with our husbands, fighting with this one, fighting with that one. They hear it. They hear it. They hear the whispering. They know. We don't have to say anything. You know what my Rav says? Chinuch is 100% them absorbing from you. You want to be mechanech kids, you want them to come out sane, happy humans? You be a sane, happy human. Stop preaching, start practicing. That's it. That's the bottom line. Stop preaching, stop preaching. I see this to myself every single day. Or be quiet. They don't need to hear you. Just be. You want them to be happy? Smile more. You want them to be courageous? Do courageous things. Non-judgment, that's N. Non-judgment. I can fall apart, ask for help, and not get judged by you. First person you cannot get judged by is yourself. So when you screw up and when you mess up and when you do stupid things and when you make mistakes that maybe cost you a lot of money or maybe cost you a lot of whatever, a friendship or something, you have to know that you are human, you make mistakes, and you must not be judgmental of yourself. You can't look at yourself and judge yourself and be angry at yourself and hate yourself and feel like you're the last person in the world that's ever going to succeed or ever going to... You can't. You cannot be judgmental, not judgmental of yourself. Don't be judgmental of yourself. And again, I'm just going to drill this to us until you leave. Until you just all get up and I'm still talking. Bottom line, whatever it is that we're doing on ourselves is going to happen in our relationships. Okay? So number one, don't judge yourself. Stop judging yourself. Doesn't mean that everything you do is cool. It's like, okay, I screwed up. I messed up. Okay, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have said that. It was her story to tell, not my story to tell. I shouldn't have said that. I'm gonna write her. An apology letter. I'm gonna own it, even if she's gonna be like, "You did what?" I'm gonna own it. I did it. I'm gonna own it. I used to say when I used to speak when I was younger, I used to be like, "You gotta be a man," but today, I say you gotta be a woman. Because we're powerful beings, women. I see it more and more and more and more and more and more. We're not afraid. A lot of us are afraid because we've been taught to be afraid, but deep down, we're not afraid. We fight over what's ours. We fight over what's ours. We fight over our homes. We want our homes to be. We want our kids to be. We want, like we're like protectors. That's how we are, women. You ever saw, what's it called? When you take an egg out of its mommy's nest, what's it called in Hebrew? Shiloh. Right? You ever see her how she like bugs out, how she freaks out over it, right? Not just because it's her baby, because we have an inborn tendency to take care of and protect what's ours. Protect what's ours. We're so connected to it, right? We just have to find that voice, that strength inside. And we have to put a lot of all the other stuff that we're listening to and we hear on mute. And connect to the truth. And the last one is generosity. Generosity is, in our relationships with ourselves, be generous with the other person. What generous with the other person means is not just giving and giving tzedakah or whatever. Generous with the other person is, she gave an amazing example, I'm just going to use her example. She said, not me, she, Renee Brown, said, I told my very good friend, that my mother passed away a year ago, and this Sunday is going to be your yahrzeit. And she didn't say yahrzeit, she said her thing, right? And then my friend didn't call me on that day. So a human knee-jerk reaction would be like, when she would call me, a day later, 2 days later, or whatever, I wouldn't answer her phone calls, I wouldn't answer her text messages, and I wouldn't answer her emails. And she can rot in hell, basically. Right? Instead of being generous is, she's proven to you this friendship, she's been a loyal friend, she's a good friend, it's important to call her the day of and say, hi, I'm thinking all day that I mentioned to you a week ago that today is my mother's yahrzeit, and you haven't called me, and you haven't called me, and it matters to me that you do. Being generous with the other person. Being kind to the other person. Being kind to ourselves. That's what it means. It means like not having to play this game of like, fine. But yeah, giving the benefit of the doubt. And yeah, people go through things. And I just want to say one last thing before I end here, is that I am terrible with texting, phone calls, and it's no reason for me to to continue being that way. I have been working on it forever, and I'm still terrible about it. I think I have a part in my brain that has to do with responding and whatever. It's on cold or something, because it's very, very hard for me. So just in this area of being Devorah, please be Devorah if I'm not so this, because it's very hard for me. I've been speaking since I'm 14. I've been speaking since I'm 14, and I've had non-stop interaction with people since then. And what happens when you're a speaker, we could turn off the camera right now. more private. What happens when you're like out there and you're a public figure is that you end up being a lot of things for a lot of people, but very few people end up being really, really close, and it could be a very, very lonely place. So the reason that I'm saying this right now is because I have to practice what I preach. And what I'm preaching is being in a place of I'm seeing your vulnerability and being okay with my vulnerability. And my vulnerability is, yes, I've been on this platform for many, many, many years. I've had many, many, many people want to be my friend, and very few people really connect with me as a person. So that's why I think that somewhere along the line I lost interest in really responding and really, because it was always, and I don't blame anyone, but it was always a place of like taking. They were always in a place of like, I need help with this, or my mother needs this, or I need that, and I need to talk about this, and I'm happy, and I want, and I'm willing, and it's the only thing that like turns me on when I can like help someone, really, really. But in terms of like the texting and the whatever, something happened. So I'm just letting you know, please be down with me. Please harass me if you wanna be in my life and be my friend, because I'm just like that. It's not a snobby thing at all. Please don't think it's a snobby thing at all. It's just the way it is. And I'm also a single mom, so it's very, very little few minutes for myself. But I wanted to say that here because I normally never say that. I never have said that ever in public, or even to anyone in the space directly. But it's important. I feel like it's important because I'm living here now. You're going to be my homegirls, and we're going to be friends, and just let's be understanding of each other. Let's be understanding of each other. No one's perfect. No one completely has it together. No one completely, no matter how amazing our wigs look, we just don't. And let's just be kind and generous and loving for each other. And if we're able to do that, Miami's going to bring Mashiach. We're going to bring Mashiach. So let's unite. Invite non-religious people to your Shabbos tables. Invite single moms to your Shabbos tables. Invite people that are not your walk of life. You don't know what to talk about. You feel awkward in front of. Be vulnerable. Be weird. Be awkward. It's all good. It's all good. Let's break out. Let's break out of comfort because that's what we have really. That's who we are. Wonder Women. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening.